Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Anu Joshi and I'm a real estate broker based in Toronto and the GTA. On today's video, I have with me Marina Vander Heyden, who is a mortgage agent at the Mortgage Alliance of the Vine Group. Hi, Marina.
Hey, how's it going, Anu?
Good, how are you?
Good, hanging in there, trying to stay sane.
Yeah, in this market, in this pandemic.
Yeah, it's crazy, but at least I can stay home. But you're out in the public now because you're deemed an essential service. So how do you feel about that?
Yes, so we got deemed as an essential service, real estate agents, but all of our organizations and associations, so the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, Ontario Real Estate Association, and the Canadian Real Estate Association are all saying that it's not business as usual. So there is a clear distinction between, why we were deemed an essential service, and that is specifically for the buyers and sellers that are already in the market, that were in the market going into this pandemic. For example, if somebody had sold their home in the past couple of weeks and they have to find either a rental or another home to buy, realtors, we want to support our clients in doing that. There was a client whose home I sold in February, and so I was working with them over the past couple of weeks to secure them something else. So we did end up finding them something. We had to obviously alter practices, so do virtual showings and do it, via WhatsApp video call and whatnot. But as of last week, or I guess it was 10 days ago, all these associations, they did say that we're not allowed to, as realtors, not allowed to do open houses, not allowed to do any non-essential showings. So basically, even though we're deemed an essential service from the government, that is just to help our existing clients. Anybody that's, thinking about going into the market, now is not the time to be, going out, seeing properties, entering other people's homes. Also, we're not legally allowed to show tenanted properties.
Oh, interesting. Because I know like at one point it was just if the tenant felt comfortable and they received adequate notice, but now it's not at all. Right?
No, not at all. Because you hear it every day. We have the national briefing from Prime Minister Trudeau every single day. So I've been catching it where and when I can. And, the message across the board is stay home. Unless you absolutely have to go out for groceries or emergency medical appointments. They're issuing tickets now to people that are out, considered non-essential trip out, like a cop can pull you over to ask you what you're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like things, no one really knows where things are going to go from here, and it's really just a day-by-day basis. But I also saw something online, I don't know how accurate this is, but that 40% of Canadians would rather get coronavirus than listen to another one of Trudeau's daily updates.
Yeah. Surely that's one of the, hundreds and thousands of memes that have been generated over the past year, right? So,
100%.
But in all seriousness, we should avoid going out. I know at my office at Home Life Miracle, across the board, we're urging agents to stay home, keep their clients at home, and not partake in any unnecessary outings, basically.
Is there a condition on sanitizing now when you're selling?
I wish, but I don't think anyone's found the legal language to make that part of the offer. So
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that a month ago things were still business as usual. So we're still trying to navigate the environment on the lending side too.
Absolutely. So Marina, I did have a question for you that I think is really important in terms of what's happening right now in the market. A lot of existing homeowners are, sometimes some of them are facing job loss or income loss. They're getting their hours cut potentially or being laid off completely, and they're unable to make their mortgage payments. Now, I know we talked a while ago about one option, which was the mortgage deferral program.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I wanted to ask for certain clients that may be tight on cash flow and are going into some difficulties right now economically, and they have equity in their home.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk me a little bit about how refinancing during the COVID-19 pandemic may be beneficial for some homeowners?
Yeah, for sure. So there's a couple of reasons why refinancing could be a good option for you. Of course, everyone is unique. Everyone's financial circumstances are unique. Not everyone is affected by this the same way, but a lot of people are out of work or temporarily laid off. So if you've had a mortgage or if you've owned a home for a couple of years and you've made your regular mortgage payments, paying down the principal, then that'll open up access to equity in your home. So with the equity in your home, you do have to qualify to take that out as a line of credit or a mortgage if you're refinancing. So a lot of lenders right now, if you're submitting an application, they're looking at it as the business viability, I guess you could say, if you're actually capable of paying off your mortgage. So they're going to be looking at your savings in your account. They're going to be looking if you still have a job, if you still have income. And then they're going to be using whatever amount that you're still taking in to qualify you for the maximum mortgage amount on if you want to take out a line of credit or if you want to refinance. Another good reason for people to refinance right now or look into their options of reevaluating their mortgage is lower interest rates. So for the time being, we've actually seen interest rates rise because lenders have already received, they've already hit their maximum or their volumes for this year. So they really just don't want any more business. So, pardon?
That's a first.
Yeah, right. You would think that banks are just inherently greedy, right? But it's also about the money that they're able to lend too. You've seen a 400% increase in refinances, and now the lenders are saying like, "Oh, slow down, slow down. Like we need to wait this out. We need to see where the market is going. If home values are going to depreciate, if they're going to stay at a standstill." Because obviously if a home value decreases significantly, that's going to affect the bank too, right? Like their asset is not as secured.
Yeah.
So so basically they see the volatility in the market as very high. A lot of people are going into defaults on their mortgage payments. So they have, even though rates have decreased from the Bank of Canada, their spread is increasing because they want to make a more of a profit to compensate for that risk.
Right.
So right now rates are actually higher, but what I'm advising my clients to do is to reevaluate your mortgage. You can look into the cost of breaking your term, and then we can compare that to the cost savings of refinancing if you want a lower rate. So I'm advising clients to go variable, and rates are predicted to drop even lower in the next couple weeks. So the Bank of Canada ruled out a negative interest rate for the benchmark overnight rate, which affects banks' prime.
Yeah.
But you never know what could happen if the situation drastically worsens, right?
Rate overnight, the Bank of Canada overnight rate is 0.25%, right?
Yeah. So we're expecting it to be zero in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
And
in the US, they made it zero a couple weeks ago already, right?
Yeah. So even though we're a separate country, we follow their economic trends very closely, just because they're our neighboring country. But once the rates lower again, and maybe if people go back to work and businesses are back up and running, the banks are going to see the market as less volatile, and they're going to want to start seeing more applications in. They're going to be opening up their doors to more purchases in the market. So right now, it's a good time to organize your documents, collect everything, and submit, because if you're submitting to your mortgage broker, you don't have to pay them to do a reevaluation. And if you are looking to get into the market in the next couple months, it'll set you up for success, because lender pipelines are going to be totally clogged if people start rushing into the market again. And if you're already pre-positioned, which is where we actually underwrite your file, then you're ready to put in an offer without wondering if you're going to be approved or not.
Right, and that's just background preparation for when the market does bounce back and people get back into buying and selling.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you have anything on your credit score, or if you have any debts you need to consolidate, I'm more than willing to advise on that. It's important to set yourself up for success, because as we've seen, the government really is ill prepared to deal with this, and we have to take things into our own hands with our financial security, protecting our assets, right?
So Marina, if there was a client, a homeowner that wanted to go ahead and do a refinance now during the pandemic and get access to the equity they have in their home, what would be the process?
Yeah, so you would call up your mortgage broker. Mortgage brokers have far more options than banks. I personally have access to over 70 different lenders, big banks, B lenders, monoline lenders, and private. So we would be able to search each one of these for an option that would fit with your file. So you would speak to your mortgage broker, have a conversation with them. You would send them your documents, and we would qualify you based on your income and how it's affecting you. And then if you're looking to proceed with the refinance, or switch lenders, we would have to pay out your existing mortgage and then refinance in the new institution. And typically, if you qualify for it with your household income, it's up to 80% of the value of your home that you can access with a mortgage and line of credit.
Okay, so this is if they want to go ahead, do the refinance, go through a mortgage broker so you can get access to multiple lenders. Now, Marina, is there any truth to, I don't know if we can call it a myth, but if you stay with your existing lender on renewal, are you guaranteed better rates? Or would you advise that clients shop around a little bit to see what other lenders have to offer?
Oh, I 100% recommend shopping around, because even, for example, TD has a higher prime rate than all the other banks right now. So it makes sense if their spread is higher and you're paying more to access money in a line of credit, or on your variable rate to switch lenders for more cost-effective methods.
Right. So always at least approach other lenders through a mortgage broker.
Yeah, and your bank also, it depends how long you've had your mortgage, because if you got your mortgage, say 5 years ago, before the stress test rules were implemented, you're gonna actually qualify for less than you do now. And it may prove difficult renewing or refinancing, because you basically won't have access to what you did before.
Right.
So there's a lot of variables to take into consideration. And that's why you really do need the help of an expert that deals with mortgages on a daily basis, not just your banker that deals with everything under the banking sun.
Absolutely. And Marina, you did mention the qualification that has to happen, of course, at the time where you're either renewing or refinancing or whatever it is. Now, what if you have homeowners that are so far they are up to date on their mortgage payments, but they foresee a job loss or potential income loss in their very near future, or somebody, last week, for example, that lost their job and their steady income just now due to COVID-19? How would that affect their approval?
So that would definitely affect their approval. Right now, there are banks that are even pulling out of deals because the applicant has lost their job, or they're just simply putting things on pause. So honestly, if you need access to credit, it's always there when you don't need it, right? But when you do need it, it often proves difficult to get. So that's why I stress the importance of being on top of things. If you foresee down the road in a couple weeks, a couple months of you losing your job, you want to try to apply for a line of credit. You want to have your safety net there, because you can defer your mortgage payments. You can apply for the Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit, but honestly, it just depends on you as an individual and how you're going to get through this, and if you have access to savings. It's really important that you get organized, because we don't know how long this is going to last for, and we don't know how much the government is going to help at this point and who's actually going to qualify.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I think there's a lot of financial uncertainty, among other things, of course. And I guess the best thing that we can advise is just for clients, whether they're in the market for a mortgage renewal, refinance, a home equity line of credit, or a potential buying or selling transaction, the best thing right now, I guess we can recommend, is for them to be prepared, kind of put their finances and everything in order, get their priorities in order, and plan as best as they can for what's to come.
yeah, and even if you were planning on buying this year, if you get pre-positioned, so I'll look over your financials, I'll create a business case for you. I'll advise on the best course of action to save your money, to restructure, to consolidate debt.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready to get into the market, you already have all of these things in mind. You're organized. It takes away a big part of the stress.
Absolutely.
And you would, and even just to talk to you for your clients, like, so you can get an idea of what they're looking for, what opportunities might come up. It's always, it's really important to be on top of things. So just trying to advise on that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Marina, for sharing your expertise and a lot of helpful advice on refinancing. If you guys have any additional questions about refinancing or getting a potential home equity line of credit, or how, details as to how this situation would affect you, definitely reach out to Marina. I will put her contact in the box below. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Marina, thank you for being on the video.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. And
Absolutely.
hope we could provide some value for clients dealing with so much uncertainty.
For sure, for sure. And it's the same thing I said last time. There's so much happening in the market right now, and a lot of information and some misinformation floating around. So the best we can do is just try to dissect that information and provide, our viewers and clients with accurate info, up-to-date info on what to do with their finances and mortgages and real estate. If you guys want to watch my last video, I think it's right over there. And if you want to subscribe, you can hit the little icon right there. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned because I do make new real estate and mortgage videos every single week. Thanks, Marina. Take care.
Bye.